Cairo. It's fantastic, really, to connect with everyone. Colleagues, if you are here again, as Agatha mentioned, is because we believe your experience and your point of view is more than valuable. You are aware about the quality of life and the SDG cities initiatives. Many of you have been working on both, on both, or at least on one of the components. UN Habitat, as a UN agency leading on both the quality of life and SDG cities, is interested to see how these two can connect and can further support coherently your work. So we want to learn from you, and with the aim of providing more tailored support and more effective support. The entry point for this discussion, as mentioned by Agatha, is the Quality of Life Index and the Action-Oriented Voluntary Local Review. Some of you, such as Nish and Udon Thani, that would have heard the experience, have already worked on that, but it is up to us to really discuss today how we can enhance the connection between the two. I believe this is back to you, Agatha. I will not take too much time on the opening, as I prefer to have a more technical, in detail discussion, and looking forward to hear your thoughts and experiences, colleagues. Agatha, over to you.
Thank you very much. So before we move on to the questions to you, dear colleagues, I would like to recap some of the key information about the initiative, and Martino will also do so, just to refresh your memories, what we are talking about and what type of discussion about convergence we are setting here. So on the Quality of Life Initiative, I will just take a few minutes. I hope you can see my screen very well. So the objective of the Quality of Life Initiative is to develop the Quality of Life Index, which we have already achieved. Over a year and a half, we worked on research to arrive with very unique value proposition in the product Quality of Life Index, that is self-measurement tool for cities to assess progress against their own baseline to improve the quality of life in cities. And of course, you've been there. Many of you have been there, have already signed up to the initiative that we tested in cities all over the world. And currently, 55 cities in 34 countries have joined the initiative, and we are delighted with this result. We are building the global network of partners with UN Habitat headquarters, our colleagues in country and regional offices and focal points, cities all over the world, as well as country governments, regional governments, and development partners, for all of us to better measure quality of life in cities, and for the quality of life to become a driving concept for urban development moving forward. I will move on to how this, what is the outcomes of that process. Is we've been working with the cities across the world to implement the Quality of Life Index. And currently, we have guidelines available on index implementation, which follow this rigorous testing. In these guidelines, you have all the information you need about how to join the initiative, as well as how to develop the index. I mentioned already the great number of cities that have joined the initiative, not limited to our pilot cities and beyond. We have Buenos Aires in Argentina, Cali in Colombia, several cities in Serbia, several cities in Japan, Madrid in Spain, Manchester in the UK, and many, many others. I would have to spend some time to naming them all. Throughout this journey, we have recognized a couple of things. First of all, that our work has relevance to SDGs.
Solo
Quality of life.
Acá, es que lo acabo de escuchar y digo, se lo tengo que contar a alguien y pues te ha tocado.
SDGs. If I can just ask one of the colleagues to mute the microphone, thank you. Our work has relevance to SDGs and has the relevance to development of voluntary local reviews. In fact, what Martino will probably mention as well, both of our programs focus on SDG measuring, localization, acceleration, and leverage UMF. They provide framework for assessing and enhancing urban well-being. They help you as cities to identify areas for improvement for data-driven policies and promote production of timely and disaggregated data. So we have a great starting point of convergence. Within our initiative, we also have global layer indicators that are SDG indicators, which again reinforces this idea that we have so much in common. Last but not least, we did recognize that with Martina fairly early on, and we tested how voluntary local reviews can be used for the quality of life index. And we have two excellent speakers today, Tanya Obradovic from the Ministry of Construction, Infrastructure and Tourism in the government of Serbia, and Fanisa, our colleague from country office, Udon Thani, who will tell us how the process looked like, how they used VLR for the quality of life index as a baseline of our discussion today. We've moved forward in this whole area of work. So not only we tested it, but also we developed annexes to VLRs. So now in the VLR of Udon Thani and Nish, you have reference to quality of life index. We also have both indexes displayed on the quality of life platform. And last but not least, we codified it. We have information in our guidelines about how to use VLR for the quality of life index. And you can see it in this slide that is coming. Apologies, internet on my side is slightly slow today. So I will wrap up here and say that we know on our side there is a strong convergence. We are very excited about it. There is strong relationship between sustainability, SDGs, VLRs, and quality of life that we know about. And our objective today is to hear from you today how you see it and what we should take into account when further working in this very, very exciting domain. Thank you. Martina, over to you.
Thanks, Agata. Thank you very much, colleagues. I will take a minute, if you don't mind, for. I hope that you can see my screen.
Yes, correct.
Can you confirm? Yeah, good, fantastic. So, colleagues, the idea of the SDG cities is to build on data index and facilitate the connection of data indexes for policy making, planning, and investment that is evidence-based and that has the larger impact for local communities. I've prepared a few slides, some of which are broader, so you will see me skipping some of them to make sure that I'll connect and reflect a bit more on the connection between SDG cities, VLRs, and the quality of life index as a potential index for data analytics. I bet that I don't have to tell you, colleagues, which is the role of cities in today's press prospect. It's quite interesting, though, to note that while the 65% of SDG targets is directly linked to the work of local regional governments, we also know one thing which is quite relevant, and that these SDG 11 that is then the basis, the enabler for the availability of all of the SDGs, is also the SDG that has the most insufficient data on, as the 60% is unavailable for a measure progress. What does this mean? Is that the work that we are discussing here today on the voluntary local reviews, on the collection of data to measure the sustainable development goals is extremely essential, not only for supporting the measurement of progresses within your city, but also to contribute to an overall measurement of what is the most relevant of the SDGs. So please take into consideration that what we are discussing here today has a global impact that we hope to bring within the framework of the UN and the global measurements that UN Habitat is taking into consideration. Cities face different challenges, but what is interesting is that over the past 5 years of work on SDG cities, we have been really working with different mayors, city leaders, regional leaders, local level leaders to understand which are the key gaps that cities are facing in addressing those trends and making sure that they develop progress. These are reflected into four main gaps that we have identified: the political ownership that needs to put really the SDGs at the center of the political agenda. Specifically now, the sustainability principles are contested. Data gap, where data is not available, or there are no capacities to collect it. Coherence gap, where multi-level governance systems are rarely in place for cities to develop their strategies and implement coherently. And an implementation gap, where cities are facing challenges at implementation level. Clearly, data is the entry point that we are looking right now in connecting the quality of life index and the potential support to VLR. Hence, how the quality of life index can be connected with the global monitoring framework and the work on VLRs, really to push then the other dimensions forward. How a solid data approach can, anchored in between the quality of life index and the voluntary local reviews, can really provide cities with more tools, more information for coherent decision making and strengthening implementation. This is where SDG Cities brings it all together. The initiative aims to impact 1,000 cities, 1 billion lives by working with 1,000 cities by 2030. Is a partner-led and action-focused initiative. What does it mean? Is that the process that you know and that you see is not something that Martino invented behind a desk, but is based on your experiences, colleagues. It's based on the experiences of cities, and also, of course, on the experiences that the Quality of Life Initiative is bringing together with the SDG Cities. The main benefits of the SDG Cities is the improved capacities for local governments, for better planning, policy project implementation and data, the capacities of your rent, access funding and investment, while accessing a certain level of visibility. The network is of over 100 cities spanning of 39 countries, some of which are overlapping with the map that Agata showed before. And that's why we are here, because I think that we need absolutely to create coherence, specifically in those that are already existing and potentially scaling up together. I will not go into the details of the SDG Cities process, as I don't want. This is not the purpose of today's meeting. I will quickly go through it just for you to understand where it connects. The SDG Cities is based on three tracks: strengthening data for understanding the city, planning for shaping the future, and orient investment for delivering long-last changes. These whole tracks can be divided into different sub-actions that the cities can go through. And the idea is that the onboarding process starts with a letter of intent, the setting up of a task force, a city work plan. City then goes through the definition of a data report, where we hope and where we see the major entry point with the quality of life and its index. How can the data process of the SDG cities, and specifically the connection with voluntary local review, be the basis for furthering SDG measurement? The data report and the data work flows into an action-oriented VLR. I'm looking at the outputs on my right that helps in SDG analysis, strategic recommendations, and priority projects. Hence, how the quality of life and the dimension of the quality of life index can shape in oriented data analysis, the strategic recommendation, and identifying priority processes. How the index can be integrated into data analysis and a policy document such as the action-oriented voluntary local review. Finally, the SDG cities supports into the definition of finance frameworks and the definition of project proposals. I'll close by saying that the VLR is the glue that connects all the dimensions of the SDG cities process. And it is because, as you have seen in the examples of Niche and Udon Thani, as well as many other examples, we have had the chance to support more than 60 cities nowadays in developing voluntary local reviews. Each VLR has a component of data spatial analysis, has a component of planning, has a component of projects. So the VLR is really where all of these dimensions of data, planning, funding and project investment will come forward. Udon Thani, together with Niš, but also cities that are here connected, such as Manza, Mafra, Medina, and I could mention thousands, have done of that VLR the trampoline to go somewhere else, to go into financing, to go into planning, to go into fiscal planning, to go into strengthening monitoring or the creation of a monitoring unit as it happened in Niš. Scrolling, I will just want to close by open a call. We have created the SDGs global community, which is the way that we are trying now to scale up and make sure that advocacy processes reach out to those cities that are not used to be part of this workshop. Because the SDG cities, if it wants to reach 1,000 cities, means going beyond those usual partners, the usual suspects that are part of the international, arena. We created the SDG cities global community as a partner-led networking opportunity for discussing different topics. Next month it will be about the one of sports, and we have just launched a call for hosting the SDG Cities Global Conference that I would like to repeat into this call again. So please, together with the quality of life, we are really at the same level, scaling up, making sure that more cities reach their sustainable development goals. We are here today to talk to you, to hear how we can do it. You've heard about the quality of life index, you've heard about the SDG cities, and you've seen that we are at the moment where we want to scale up support towards your sustainability goals. How do we do it? It's also part of the discussion that we would like to have with you together. Thank you, and Agata, over to you again.
Thank you, Martino. That was an excellent presentation of the program in a nutshell. So, dear colleagues, what we did is we recapped both programs to you. And now we will hear from a very, very interesting speakers, Ms. Tanya Obradovic, Planning Advisor, Ministry of Construction, Transport and Infrastructure in the Government of Serbia, who has tested the use of voluntary local reviews for the quality of life index, and it's more than excited to share the lessons learned. And this will be followed by a online recording by Vanessa, our national expert in UN Habitat Bangkok office, who was leading on the use of VLR for quality of life index in Udon Thani. But before Vanessa comes in, let me welcome you, dear Tanya, to this group, and we are very excited to hear your intervention. Let us know if you would like to display the presentation. We should do it, and please take it away. 10 minutes presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Agata. Please share my presentation if you can. Hi everyone, I'm Tanya Obradovic from Serbia. And I will try now briefly share the experience of Serbia and Niš with you. Yes, you see the colorful our cover for VLR, and I try to put also the color text to emphasize our really nice work on both projects. I was a coordinator for both voluntary local review and also for quality of life index. Niš is one of 5 first pilot cities from quality of life index. And for us, that is really opportunity in the really short time for doing a VLR and doing a quality of life index to have opportunity for all process of bringing data into live and to merge to global level documents, which is a VLR, and also to bring data in some project exciting and new, how is a quality of life initiative. And for us, that is really great opportunity, and we are trying to scale up now for another cities. Please, next slide. And yes, we project started like supported by UN Habitat with together with another cities in Georgia, Tbilisi, Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan, and Dushanbe from Tajikistan, and Niš, Serbia. Niš is not capital of Serbia. Capital is Belgrade. Niš is south eastern city and birthplace of Constantine the Great, and really have the really exciting past, and also we hope really exciting future. And I must say that that is our first VLR in the Republic of Serbia, and for us that is some kind of obligation going to the whole process with people who have a really daily job and going with a lot of data, but with great support and great team from SDG localization. We really succeed in and deliver the VLR on time. Please, next slide. I show you some methodology of the VLR process for the city of Niš, and I put connection with quality of life index, and we start, for example, we start about July in 2023, and we have two really exciting forum of stakeholder, and you will see the moment of including the quality of life initiative in our process. And from that time, from about springtime in last year, we started quality of life initiative. And we go forward together and parallel quality of life and VLR process. But what is really good to know, we have two stakeholder meeting before the quality of life initiative started, and we have really on board a lot of stakeholders, and a lot of stakeholders know about what is SDG, what is data collection, how they can improve data and to send really good data, you know, because on that two forums of stakeholders, we doing a really nice training for them. And I don't want to say that for quality of life was an easy way, you know, that is really also exciting work, but we have really prepare situation with hard work before the quality of life started. Please, next slide. And this is presented as selected SDGs for the VLR of City of Niš. This is 12 SDGs, 26 indicators, and offshore that is a lot of from SDG 11. And all of that data was in, how to say, in preparation when we start to collecting data for quality of life initiative. Please, next slide. And when we start a quality of life initiative, we have also workshop and exciting one, because we choose the smaller group that is a methodology for quality of life, and also with great support of quality of life initiative team. We have 18 participant attended, a stakeholder participant from different sectors, but we choose, how to say, the right person from right institution, you know. And we selected a really nice group of people to talking for a new perspective, for new indicators, because quality of life have indicators chosen by, how to say, creative way. Please, next slide. And I must return in some local connection with the local level in Serbia. How to say, we need to connect the past and the present. Serbia has a lot of experience in planning, but over time it has somehow lost database monitoring and planning. The reasons are various. Some are local, but some are common to all countries. Poorly developed monitoring is globally linked maybe to the speed of change, you know. But for Serbia, we need to put monitoring in our law and in our local level, of course. I show you a chronology of, how to say, territorial monitoring and multiple level in Serbia. In the upper is a local level, that is all institution and documents over the time in niche, and in blue one is on national level. And you will see that really lot of documentation, and Serbia and niche, we follow all the time, we follow the global initiative, but also trying to put in the local level. But now Serbia does not have a systematic monitoring and at the local level. And what we do before and maybe parallel with that processes of VLR, City of Niš decided to establish monitoring unit in City of Niš, and VLR and Quality of Life Initiative will help gradually introduce monitoring at the local level. Please, next slide. And at, how to say, at the end, the link with VLR and quality of life, how to say, are conducted according to a strict method. VLR, for example, also collecting SDGs are conducted according to a strict methodology and represent a strong foundation for the creation of continuous monitoring. And quality of life has both global and local level of indicators, and a more flexible and creative approach to indicator creation, which provides flexibility and adaptability to cities at the local level. But I think together they create a synergy that can offer a very powerful tool for planning and action. And I think that is really crucial for that, because we need the continuously planning, but also we need continuously action. And that synergy giving to us. And also, what to say, it is necessary to connect this, I think is important, with existing regulations in a local level, and in, for example, here in Serbia, and also in local, and begin applying them more actively in practice. Not just put VLR and quality of life and giving documents. This requires a significant work on strengthening the capacity of people, as well as reducing the time gap between data collection and their usage. Because if we, for example, we delivered now, we did a great job with VLR and quality of life, but if we put that VLR and quality of life into the pocket, that is not giving, if time, for example, going up to just 1 year, no more, just 1 year, that is no more, maybe, how to say, not just motivation, also we lose action. We lose action. Because of that, we are constantly working on motivation of us, our team here. From monitoring unit, and for national level, that is a name of group of people. We are like a friend, we are like a team. That is a Siniša Trkulja from national level, this is Miljana Medarom from monitoring unit, this is a Milena Dinic, who was a consultant, but she is on faculty, and all of us together going to continuously working on that process, and also to motivate it, for example, our governance new, and we have a really confused situation here in Serbia in political way, but we are trying to do our best not to go forward. And because that, we motivated our mayor, present mayor, and to go forward with all of that, with VLR and quality of life. And just before the meeting today, I went to the mayor to give him consultation about this process, to bring some data, because he preparing for Geneva talking. And this is crucial, that connection with all people in different level and different sectors, and be in the same way to do something on for your city, for your country. And this is requires how to say, scientific work on strengthening also the capacity of people, as well as reducing, I say, the time gap. Yes, I saw, but for human capacity, we need also to teach them, to teach people in institution and organization how to collect data, how that data unpack and link with indicators, you know, and collecting data, how to say, for purpose, for action, and that people must know what collection meaning after the collecting data. If they don't have a wider picture for what will we do next with action, they will not motivated to bring some data or to collect them in the right way. And please, next slide.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
And that is the last one. I show you in the right the present, that is our VLR, and the left side is the past. That is a city case study of Niš for Yugoslav National Habitat Committee in 1996. And that give us the information that Niš is all the time have some framework and cooperation with UN Habitat. And for example, this VLR in the right way, will be passed for 5, maybe 10 years will be passed for us. Someone will show this is the past of the niche, but we must link it all the time, and the past and the future. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Tanya. Just to summarize some of the key takeaways, dear colleagues, the question of today's consultation is whether we should be continue connecting quality of life and sustainability SDG measurement, and if so, what is the value added? And I noted down the following, that indeed that Tanya sees in the case of niche, a value in it in terms of creating a potential powerful local impact. But she also flags the importance of capacity building and the appropriate human resource training and management for data collection beyond. And she also flags how important it is that we think ahead. We think, why are we collecting this data, for what purpose, and to connect data with action, so that the integration of these two components, quality of life and SDGs, is designated in that direction to deliver change, to prompt action. And following these insights, we also have an intervention by our colleague Vanessa from country office in Bangkok, and that would be displayed online by our dear colleague Claudia. Claudia, please don't hesitate to take it away. I look forward to hearing the intervention. We cannot hear. Yes, if you can kindly just try again.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Panisa Niratiwongsakorn. I am a national technical expert at UN Habitat Bangkok office. Please allow me to share how Udon Thani integrate SDG and quality of life together. Udon Thani City Municipality is a small city in Thailand in the northeastern region with a population around 115,000, and the city worked on VLR in 2023. Building on that, the city started working on Quality of Life Index together with VLR on 2024. When we started Quality of Life Initiative, the city already worked on developing the first VLR. Udon Thani identified their priority SDG, which are SDG 3 on health, 4 on quality education, 8 on economy, 11 on sustainable cities, 13 on climate actions, and 16 on justice and strong institutions. The city is also the first city in Thailand to adopt UMF, or Global Urban Monitoring Framework, which is UN's Habitat 2 as a data framework. UMF is designed to align with SDG and Quality of Life Index. So we see the opportunities that quality of life can build on VLR process. And VLR is a process to review SDG progress of the city. It tells you how much did we do, and also guide us what actions that are needed to achieve the goals. Meanwhile, quality of life is a concept that is aligned to the mayor vision to make the city more livable with quality of life. It is also aligned with Udon Thani's 5-year strategic plan. So quality of life helped to add more richness to the data of the VLR, and also let the city understand the detail of the needs of its citizens. VLR in Udon Thani can be divided into 5 phases. From the first phase, planning and institutionalizing, which kicked off in June 2023. And second step is definition of VLR structure and SDG, which we identified priority SDGs and indicators. Third step is gathering inputs and data. Fourth step, report writing. And the last step is endorsement and follow-up, which has been endorsed in November 2024. So quality of life comes in the third step of gathering inputs and data. We use the information that we collected from VLR process to develop quality of life index. Some of quality of life indicators already have data from VLR, and some of them are spatial data, such as open and recreational spaces. Meanwhile, there are local layer indicators that quality of life complement SDG indicators by informing the satisfaction of public services. For example, the city collected data on access to public transportation for VLR, while quality of life looked at the satisfactory level of the services. So quality of life helped the city to see not only the quantity, but the quality aspect of the service provision, and Udon Thani can use data to plan how to improve the quality of their services. In terms of SDG localization, quality of life helped to add data to priority SDGs initiatives and action. For example, SDG 11, which is one of the priority SDG of Udon Thani. The city identified Cultural Street Project as the priority project that can help the city to achieve this goal because it can boost local economy and improve public spaces while promoting diverse culture of Udon Thani. So in VLR, we collected data on open spaces and cultural spaces in the city, as you can see in the map. While quality of life, we collected data on percentage of population satisfied with public sport and cultural facility provided by the city as a global layer. And for local layer, we collected data on the level of interest in local culture and tradition among young generation. So you can see how quality of life built on VLR. Meanwhile, they also inform back the data that we collect from quality of life that will help the city to improve the project they identified and achieve the SDG they want. After the project finished, we got feedback from the city. First, Udon Thani learns about quality of life from quality of life initiative. It is a learning process for the city, also with UN Habitat. Second, it is interesting for the city to design its own indicators. So it is more interesting to see the results back from the survey that they design their own questions. And also the results are useful for the city to improve their projects and initiatives to serve the need of the people. And lastly, that quality of life encouraged Udon Thani to set a goal for a project from quality of life angle. And Udon Thani also gave feedback that when we started working on VLR, the city doesn't even know what SDG is and the benefits of the VLR. But after working together with UN Habitat for a long time, the city understands how to use VLR and quality of life to improve their work. My last point is about scaling up quality of life and SDG together. So first of all, quality of life is an easy concept to understand for a city. Many cities in Thailand has quality of life as a city's vision and policies. So it is easy to align the initiative to the city's current work. And it can also be a bridge for a city to achieve SDG because SDG is a bit more complicated concept for local level to understand, while quality of life is very tangible for communities. So we can use quality of life to help communities understand the global concept of SDG. And for the key factors to scale up quality of life and SDG, first of all, I think we need political buy-in from a city. So we need to align quality of life to a city's current work and policies to make sure that quality of life is not a standalone process, but it is tied to the city's current work. So it is not a double work for working level. And also localization of language is important, especially for the Thai context. The second point is about minimum data availability. So I think a city should have data available for VLR and quality of life to build on. And data can be collected by municipality itself or other agencies such as NSO that the city can request data from. And international organizations and CSO can help a city to design the data collection process and also with the data analysis. And the last point is about institutional support to engage community and stakeholders. The city has to engage communities and stakeholders for quality survey and to ensure that all groups are included in the process. So to make sure that the city has to engage with a lot of stakeholders in the city to make sure that a survey reflects the need of the people. So I think these three are the key factors that will make quality of life and SDG successful in other cities. This sums up my presentation, and I hope Udon Thani's experience is useful for you. VLR and quality of life can help to improve the city's work, so I hope it will be useful for your cities too. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you for displaying this intervention. And again, excellent news coming from Udon Thani and very, very interesting experience on the ground. Basically, Vanessa just showed us how they use the data and the process of the voluntary local review to inform the quality of life index, but also highlighted opportunities and challenges. Importance of ensuring political buy-in, coordination effort, minimum data capacity, but she overall sees a huge value in that, in this integration. So now, after hearing these two interventions, I would like to especially invite our local government representatives to answer to our 3 questions and that were included in our invitation to you. And if, dear Claudia, if I would like to kindly ask you to display those questions on the screen for those who don't have invitation in front of them. And the first question is that, what is the value added, in your view, of integrating SDGs and quality of life measurement in cities, especially with reference to the voluntary local reviews, action-oriented VLR? So what is the value added? We heard from 2 cities. We really would like to hear from the rest of you. Hypothetically, from your experiences, what could this value added be? So please don't hesitate to raise your hand. I'll be picking up from the by seeing who raised the hand in the order of appearance. Yes, I would like to, I see, please, Alisa. Alisa, maybe you can introduce yourself briefly, say where you come from, and what is your thought with regard to the first question? We all have pens and papers in front of us. Take it away.
Okay, I'm happy to introduce myself. My name is Alyssa Bittner-Gibbs. I'm substituting in for Mikkel Larsson because he is currently on a flight back from Brussels. And so I apologize for not being him, but I am happy to be here today and participate. To answer the question a little bit, or to give a little background on where I am in the Åland Islands, which is an archipelago between Sweden and Finland of about 31,000 people. We are an autonomous region, which means that we have the ability to make some choices here at a very local level that other regions cannot. And as such, we've become a bit of a living laboratory that we can try different things locally, a little more agile, in a more agile way, and try to get a sense of where we need to improve and adapt. I guess to answer the first question is that I feel like the greatest value of the voluntary local reviews is to create a shared sense of responsibility and ownership between governments and communities. And they serve as sort of like a hand out, an extended hand to the world in a way, that you're sharing how it's going here, what you've learned along the way, and where you still have challenges. I think from a comparative perspective, especially when we take regions that share certain similar challenges or certain characteristics, that is of an enormous value. So I think that their primary purpose, or at least what I've observed since we sent over our voluntary review in May of last year, is that they serve as tools for dialogue learning and shared planning. And they make for an excellent springboard for discussion.
If you can, I can ask you, Alisa, follow-up questions. What was the quality of life component in this VLR? Because that is the whole purpose of connecting these two debates on SDGs and quality of life. If you can elaborate a bit, what is the value added of this?
Yeah. So on Åland, we use the Harvard Flourishing Index, actually. So the Harvard Flourishing Index indicates 6 key domains of well-being, including happiness, health, purpose, relationships, character, and material stability. So our measurements are built around these 6. And that's been very helpful for expanding our thinking beyond traditional economic or infrastructure-based metrics. One of the things that we're working on, or which is my primary responsibility within the government, is that quantitative indicators, unfortunately, cannot fully capture the complexity of well-being. And so my attention is oriented more and more towards inner sustainability, which is an emerging field. The hardest part of that is that with inner sustainability, it requires more qualitative research and qualitative measurements. And I'm finding that our government, probably like a lot of others, doesn't do enough of this kind of research. And that's what we're going to have to do next to start filling in some of our gaps.
So I understand it allowed more in-depth understanding than a more nuanced understanding of development challenges by combining these two focuses. Excellent. Yes. So I have another hand up, super, from Mr. Tamaya. If you can introduce yourself, please, and say where you come from as well.
Thank you, and thank you for wonderful presentations. I'm Ville Taima from the city of Espoo, Finland. Also representing I'm the lead partner for a network called Cities for Sustainability Governance that is formed around 9 cities in Europe, different socioeconomic and geographical and other locations. And so perhaps my kind of short answers for these 3 questions come from that perspective. We just had a 3-day meeting ended last evening in Košice, Slovakia. But for the first question, I think the one really clear added value is also the kind of better communication. I liked a lot what Alisa said about ownership. I think it connects really nice on also to how can we communicate better. For instance, many cities in this network are now using VLR also as an educational material, so able to give fact-based knowledge to schools for different ages of children. So that's kind of the one thing that we didn't yet discuss in so much detail. But then the kind of the other question, or the second question, is that I think perhaps why we need to use both the quality of life index and the SDGs is that by using them, you have clarity of your vision. And I mean at the strategic level, that because if you're not able to create ownership and communication and that kind of shared vision, there will be a vacuum between the governance or the policy building and then your community. And I think we are witnessing what can happen if that vacuum grows too large. So I want to emphasize this kind of journey. I think that's very strong in VLR and in quality of life index as well, if I understand. And that's just as a brief idea or kind of intuitive thought that and we were discussing this week as well a lot, is also this prominent potential that the SDG cities network has. It's a fantastic idea. It's a very for instance, I think we see it now, of course, also as a it's a network, it's a concept, it's a process. It's also like a platform that can unite very different kind of cities. And kind of my question to my network and to other networks is that could this be, the network that connects all the kind of SDG driven networks and also the quality of life index work at the same time together. But those would be kind of the 3 quick points that I would love to share.
Powerful messages from Espoo. Thank you very much. So I noted down that in fact using quality of life language then allows a better communicating maybe about SDGs and the better explaining the VLR process and why sustainability is important. Kindly correct me if I'm wrong, because that's what I interpreted. And second, I noted it down. I would like to take it as a quotation, if that's fine with you. It provides, joining these two provides clarity of vision at the strategic level. So if that's okay, this is a beautiful quotation we'd like to take forward. We have other two hands up. Thank you very much. We have Mr. Walid Ali. So again, please introduce yourself and say where you're from.
Agata, do you mind if I step in a second before giving the floor to Ali? 1 second, if it's good for you.
Please, yes, yes, indeed.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And if I may, I wanted to underline one point from the colleagues that just spoke, which is the experience of Finland. So both speak from the north, and it's really an amazing example. This goes a bit beyond specifically the discussion on SDG cities, quality of life, and thank you, Willy, for stressing the importance of the SDG cities and the idea behind it. But it's how the and I believe this is might be part of the visioning that we are trying to bring together. It is the culture of change that both, at least in my experience, in our experience working with both Holland as well as with Ville, it's really the push, the culture, bringing sustainability at the center of the discussion, bringing sustainability at the center of sustainability thinking, bringing inclusion as the everyone can flourish approach in Holland Island at the center of transformative change. So while thinking about quality of life, I think that the Finnish example, both from Holland Island as well as Espoo, it's really the cultural shift that these two local governments, led by our colleagues and by their respective leaders, have brought at the center of the discussion. In addition to the whole data, VLRs, SDGs, but that's a piece of information that I would like to highlight given their relevance. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you, Martino. So I would like to then get back to cities. Mr. Walid Ali. Can you again introduce yourself and say where you're from, and of course, please reflect on the subject. Mr. Walid Ali, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. Eventually, you can write your question on the chat.
The mic was off.
Okay, please take it away. Yes.
Thank you. I'm from Tunisia. I worked with the UN Habitat. I'm an external expert. I worked with the UN Habitat Tunisia on VLR Noor, which is a city of the center of Tunisia. Then I would share with you my experience in the value added of SDGs and how when we elaborated the VLR, the question of quality of life emerged. First, I have to say that in Tunisia, when we speak, for example, access to services, the question is a quantitative question. It's a normative question. Then the administration or the local government say we have good service because we have one school for every, for example, 2,000 pupil. This is the only indicators that we have. Then when we discuss it with them on the VLR, the indicators were quantitative indicators, and for the local government, the situation was not so bad because we have enough schools, we have enough hospitals, we have enough roads, etc. But when we had when we put it together, population and local government, the discussion showed us that the problem is not a quantitative question; it's a qualitative question. The problem is not we have school or not, but we have a good enseignement. We have a good scholarity or not. We have the question was not we have a hospital or not, but we have a good health or not. And the work on the VLR showed us that in Noor specifically, Noor, there are big quality issues, and the response of the local government, which was at first, if we have problem, we will increase the number of schools. The population said, no, we have, the problem isn't to increase the number of schools. The problem is to increase the number of enseignants and to increase the quality of services in the existing schools, to increase, to ameliorate the urban area around the schools. Not to give us another school. We don't need other schools, and then this work lead us to orientate the action of local and administration and ministries to more specific actions which will ameliorate or increase the quality of life of the population, which is not the traditional way of doing of these administrations. That was my opinion on that. Thank you. Excuse me for the English. If you are French speaking, I can explain more of this problem. Thank you.
Thank you, noted. Yes, Martino, you wanted to comment?
Thanks, Agatha, for sharing the floor. And I will just mention one thing, which is what Walid has also mentioned with the Hennur. Hennur case, I believe it's a very interesting one for the incredible connection that the VLR has done from the data side to the definition of projects. The action-oriented component of the VLR, which is based on solid data gathering, has really led to the identification of plus 40 projects, priority projects, which are now categorized into few different local specific interventions. So again, going back into the quality of life dimension and what the index can provide for the VLR, I think that there is a connection that goes beyond eventually the specific collection of data and integration of indicators. But if quality of life is taken as a principle for measuring then SDG progress, project will also have an influence with regards to the projects that are going to be delivered. And being the quality of life people-centered, it is probably going to enhance eventually also the relevance of the priority projects being identified through the action-oriented voluntary local review. So it's the connection doesn't stand. It's the entry point, at least from the discussion that I'm understanding, could be at the data level, but its impact is definitely could go much beyond that. And thank you, Walid, for the great work in Hennur.
Thank you. And we have some additional hands up. Ahmed, you've been waiting. Please take it away. Introduce yourself, say where you're from, and of course, your take on this integration.
Okay, thank you so much. It's good afternoon for all. And my name is Ahmed Abu Laban. I'm the Ramallah City Director from Palestine. And I was responsible for the committee which we work for VLRs in cooperation with the UN Habitat. And I would like to thank you for inviting me for this unique and interesting session. Actually, it's one of my favorite sessions that I would like to talk about. I would like to share with you our experience in Ramallah City, taking into account that I do believe that the cornerstone for any city in the world, it's to look at the main goal for any city in the world. It's our main goal. It's to improve the quality of life for our citizens and to make their lives much easier. So I think I'm so proud to say that we succeeded in Ramallah City, that we didn't look at each international initiative vertically. I think we succeeded to adopt the horizontal integrative approach. So we do believe that each initiative, there is a link with the other initiative. So all these initiatives are complementing each other. So as an example, we have the resilience opportunity because we are one of the cities with the 100 resilient cities network. We are part of the smart city. We are part of a green city. We are part of creative city, and also with the VLR issues and with the child-friendly city. But we succeeded to have that the integration between all of these opportunities. Because if we look about each one vertically, I think it won't be had. The main issue that we believe that we have the city planning umbrella, and all of these initiatives to be under the city planning umbrella. And with that, I think maybe we will have like to maximize the benefits for any opportunity, and without failing to see like we are duplicating the work with this initiative and other initiatives. We will build on what we had with the other initiative and to go ahead further in our development to improve the quality of life for our citizens. We will be so happy and excited to be part of this great initiative, and we do believe it had an added value, taking into account our complicated situation in Palestine. But I do believe that despite everything, we are so optimistic because we do believe that we have our main goal, our main dream, and we should continue to build our city and institutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was lovely to hear from Ramallah. This is all well noted. I'm just aware of time, would like to immediately bring in our colleague. I have unfortunately only a nickname here in the chat, PPD Osa Surigao. So if you can please unmute yourself. Your camera is not on yet. If you can unmute yourself and then introduce yourself so we can know where you come from and also shed a light on this question. Thank you. I think you're still muted. Can you kindly repeat? Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yes. Can you? Yes, please. Please take it away.
Hello, thank you. Thank you. Greetings to everyone present here on behalf of Chandagiri Municipality. I am Ghanshyam Giri, the Mayor of Chandagiri Municipality, Kathmandu, Nepal. I think in these questions, we should strengthen the collaboration with federal and provincial governments and various development partners, ensuring community participation in decision-making and development programs. During formulation of annual budget, we should align municipal policies with SDGs target for sustainable urban growth. Moreover, aligning the SDG 3, we have implemented the recommendation from the VLR report to improve citizens' health, including measures to address dengue and tuberculosis cases in our municipality, in our experience. Addressing the SDG 4, we should introduce a smart pre-primary education system in school and college. Aligning SDG 5, we have conducted gender audit, and also we are making inclusive cities for women, children, senior citizen, disability, LGBTIQ+ in planning and action of activities. We respect to SDG 6, the primary focus. We should be on improving water, sanitation, and resilient urban infrastructure. I think the value added at integrating quality of life and SDG measurement in Chandagiri municipality, in our municipality, strategic urban policies can be formulated by identifying areas that need improvement, such as health SDG 3, education SDG 4, and water and sanitation SDG 6, and sustainable cities SDG 11. SDG indicators can guide budget allocation, ensuring that funds and directed toward project with long-term socio-economic. I think it enables better coordination between local and federal government agencies for infrastructure and sustainability. I think our experiences in this type of experience. So thank you for granting me the opportunity to share my experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is well noted. And a colleague, I would like to recall back the colleague who doesn't have the full name in the display, but would be delighted to hear back from you. It's PPDO Suragio, if I pronounce correctly. I think you had the camera on just a minute ago. So I don't know if it is it is possible, and of course we would like to thank Mr. Mayor for joining. So just coming back to the colleague that had a hand up, if you're still interested in delivering intervention, no, and then I would like to move into Mr. Uriel. Please introduce yourself and tell us your take and where you're from, of course.
Yes, it's good evening here from the Philippines. I'm Uriel. I'm also working with UN Habitat, helping the city of Surigao. It's one of the cities in the Philippines down south that is doing the VLR currently now. And the way I see it, it is more interesting now that we talked about the quality of life index, which we have not yet done in our city. Because if you look at the SDGs, especially, for example, on SDG 11, we look at the indicators, the data, for example, the informal settlements, we look at the basis of ownership of housing, their tenure. But if you put in the quality of life dimension, we talk about comfort. We talk about satisfaction, not just giving the housing. We talk about access to these services and so on. So I think that's the value added component of it, not just on the numbers, but more of the human development component of comfort, satisfaction. These are just some of the things, and even cultural sensitivity. Because if you really have to factor that, that is I would say, the overall human development component of not just the SDGs, but marrying both with the quality of life index. That would be the value added in my point of view. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. This is well noted. Also, we have a colleague, Joao. Please, Joao, take it away.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the great insight so far. So I have a quick comment. My name is Udon Thani. I have been working with the UN in the Arab region with SDG localization for a while. And reacting to the first discussion prompt, I think what comes to mind is that we have this natural challenge with the SDGs, which is contextualizing this global normative framework that we have with the SDGs into local contexts in all different cities around the world. So I think the quality of life initiative with these different indicators is a great maybe lens into which trying to do this contextualization, specifically with the local layer indicators. I think they're a great approach to really trying to understand what's going on in the global level and how that applies in the local context. And we have in the guidelines from the Quality of Life Initiative, we have kind of codified some workshops. So that's very helpful to how we can actually put this in practice, especially during the VLR development. So I would be very excited to try to do this during the VLR development. That can be a great way of contextualizing the indicators we're going to be using, and also for sure helping with the SDG prioritization that will be reported in that VLR. So I think that's a great, let's say, procedural help and support for VLRs.
Thank you very much. It's all noted on my side. And we have a colleague joining. I know you had a problem, connection problem. Please come in. We have two hands up. Please come in. Unfortunately, I don't know your name because you have only Nick.
Sorry, Agatha, his name is Jonathan. So
Jonathan, please come in.
Yes, good evening. Am I audible now?
Yes.
I'm sorry for the internet connection. Yes, thank you. I am Jonathan Litang, the Provincial Planning of Philippines. And in response to the question, although we are a neophyte in SDG localization, but still the province, we challenge ourselves to push through with the VLR because we are on the same consensus, all of us in the province, that by integrating the Sustainable Development Goals and quality of life measurements, particularly through action. It will provide significant value by allowing the province of Surigao del Norte to contextualize global goals to its unique local realities. We have also partnered with the UN Habitat and the city and the SUD and many other agencies. We have a qualitative experience with the sea nomads or the sea gypsies. With the help of the UN Habitat, we have built homes, proper sanitation and livelihoods for the sea gypsies. Also, it is called the Hoyanan and Badjao. I don't know if this has been tackled earlier. So the home of the Badjaos or the sea gypsies, based on that experience, the sea gypsies learn from the city because it's the city that is facilitating. But the Badjao, although they have learned from the city has also learned from the Badjaos on how the SDG or the quality of life looks like, or what does it mean in terms of poverty, education, environmental and climate actions. I think that localizing the SDGs will only have its value when the local themselves became believers of SDGs and the quality of life from their own experience and understanding. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. And we could hear you, so that is really excellent news. I'm just looking at if anyone has another hand up on this question. Yes, we have one more hand up on this question, then I will give the floor back to Martino for the last question, what is needed to successfully scale up this approach. But before that, Suzanne, please come in with a brief intervention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agatha. I'm also supporting Abu Dhabi City with Voluntary Local Review, working with Nagwa Lachine and UN Habitat ROAS. I would echo some of what João just mentioned regarding the existing space that's already carved out in VLRs and VNRs for contextual indicators, and the experience in Abu Dhabi so far, bearing in mind we are pre-validation of the material, was that they have used their ongoing active quality of life work to fill out some of those contextual indicators. But one point that I felt was interesting, and bearing on your first prompt there particularly, is while the standard SDG indicators and some of the contextual ones coming through generally present averages across the city, what the quality of life material has provided in the Abu Dhabi case is an ability to drill down into the various groups who are in the city, and from a leave no one behind angle gives you insights into the different experiences. So for example, in cities such as Abu Dhabi, where the majority are non-nationals, you're finding that some of the satisfaction data, such as satisfaction with housing, is vastly different between the nationals and the non-nationals. I have several such bifurcations in the data that can be presented, but this is from an LNOB angle, and a value addition of quality of life. Thank you.
This is really, really great intervention. Thank you, Suzanne. So Martino, please don't hesitate to take it away now for the last question.
Thank you, Agatha. Thank you, colleagues. This is a fantastic gathering because it gathers experts, planners, city level, and I would really emphasize the fact that we are all here together to make sure that we provide further coherent and enhanced support to what's next. The SDGs, colleagues, are set to a deadline in 2030. We actually don't know eventually what is going to happen afterwards, and certainly behind the SDGs there is the concept of sustainability, there is the concept of prosperity for our communities and our cities. So while we push it forward, we need to take it into consideration our collective mandate to make things better for everyone. And it is in this spirit that we really want to bring things to the next level. Both quality of life as well as the SDG cities are at the moment of scaling up. You have seen the ambitions of the quality of life getting into 100 cities. You have seen the ambitions of the SDG cities to 2030. So question is, taking that into consideration and given the input that you have shared and received, what is there something that you would like to tell us, to the colleagues, to the SDG cities and quality of life secretariats, on how we can better work together, and specifically what would be your takeaway for us to push us to a scaling up collaboration and scaling up to other cities around the globe? I would love to hear from some city representatives if possible. I see a hand coming and going. Zuhura. Can you hear us? No, maybe. So maybe while Zuhura fixes, maybe Ville, over to you again.
Thank you, Martino. I'll be brief so Zuhura can, when he's able to come back. So I think we are on rails. We are going absolutely to the right direction, and it's happening, at least whether we are talking about the 6 largest cities in Finland or the network of 9 cities in Europe. We are this close, 99.7% to join the SDG cities. So I think you are doing amazing work, and the momentum is there. Of course, we all need to support each other and make it tangible. But I think the work is fantastic, and now we just make it tangible and practical.
Tangible and practical. I think that's a good way forward, Ville, and looking forward to the official joining of the SDG cities from your side. Then I see Uriel.
Yes, thank you very much. Once again, from our experience here in Surigao City, the Philippines, I would have to agree with the earlier presentation of Thailand that to scale up, it's always going to be a critical factor would be the political buy-in or the government buy-in, because the structure here of governance in the Philippines, although there are a lot of technical people who would be doing the recommendations, but the final approval of any undertaking would always be lodged with the political leaders. It has to be with the mayors for the cities and the municipalities, the governors for the provinces, and even on the national level, it has to be done also with the political buy-in. So that's one factor. That will be
Thanks for noting that down. Thanks for noting that down, Uriel. So we have concrete and practical work on the political buy-in from the political leaders. I see Jonathan again with your hand is up, and then Joao.
Okay. I think to successfully scale up this approach, for our experience in the province of Surigao del Norte, I think it requires focused efforts in capacity building, investment in robust data infrastructure, fostering multi-stakeholders partnerships, securing adequate financial resources, and ensuring strong political will. We also need to train local officials and stakeholders in establishing systems for data management, engaging with various sectors, and securing funding and all critical components for successful implementation. For us in the province, this year, though it is ambitious, as it may seem, we have started integrating the SDG investment into our annual investment program planning, in order to maximize the resources of the provincial government. Though we are still finalizing our SDGs investor map to showcase our business prospects with a supportive policy environment that can have a significant influence on sustainable development and to serve as foundation to discussions surrounding policy level measures to strengthen the ecosystem and to entice private investors and enterprise to raise capital and direct business operations towards the designated SDG relevant sectors. I can also see that in scaling up, there are also some key benefits, which include enhanced identification of strategic urban policies and actions, improve policy coherence for sustainable development, and optimize the resource allocations. We are trying to marry the sustainable development goals and the quality of life in terms of our provincial development plan, the provincial physical framework plan, down to the city and to the municipal level for their comprehensive development plan, and ensuring that their land uses also will be attuned to it, so that there will be no one that will be left behind. I think that will be needed for scaling up with this initiative. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Extremely good points. I will not try to summarize because you have mentioned a lot, but I would like to strengthen maybe the connection you made with investments. So the thing that you are integrating SDGs within your investment plan, that you are trying to build it up from a data to really an implementation dimension, which is, I believe, in the spirit of both the initiatives that we are here discussing today. Joao.
Thank you so much. I'll be very quick, maybe just some food for thought for you. So when I'm thinking about scaling up, the first thing that comes to mind is that we have to make trade-offs at this point. We're very close to the deadline, 2030. So especially if you want to reach medium and smaller cities, I think we need a streamlined process, especially for VLRs. So I guess at this point we can experiment with some MVPs, so these minimum viable products that are slimmed down versions, maybe less resource intensive, and probably a train the trainers approach. One idea is having national ambassadors that are trained and they try to gain capillarity in their own countries with as many cities as they can. So those are just food for thought, given the tight deadline that we have.
Thanks a lot, Joao. Agata, I'll continue rolling, but please jump in. And I think Joao has a very good point that concerns both of us. So quality of life is in the process of building a fantastic online platform that would really facilitate interaction with its cities. The SDG cities has available tools which are online plus e-learning. So we tried with the digital world and the help of AI from both sides to support cities. There is one truth. And I believe it connects with Jonathan's, which is the use of those tools. There is always going to be a human component, a resources and financial component that needs to be included in this thinking. So while as two initiatives we provide the tools, the efforts we digitalize, we really need to go to work in the direction that Jonathan was mentioning, which is the capacity building one. So I believe that the combination of the two, making resources and a bit less cost intensive for cities, while working on sustainability to capacity building, it would be for me a good approach ahead. Alisa.
Hey, so bouncing off of that and thinking very specifically about our collaboration with UN Habitat to build an Everyone Can Flourish toolbox. This isn't my first meeting this week. I was lucky to be in a meeting with Claudia earlier this week on Tuesday, and I have to say I spent a great deal of Wednesday and Thursday thinking about what would be the framework and the structure of this toolbox. I've had the good fortune of working with, for a time, a head researcher at Lund University by the name of Christine Wamsler, who specializes particularly in environmental sustainability, but increasingly intersustainability. And I thought a lot about a model that she had built up. And while it's not an exact match, I'm thinking that when we're going to be building this toolbox, we're going to have to think about 4 different dimensions in terms of being able to successfully scale up and provide practical tools for it. I'm thinking in terms of spheres. So in terms of 3 different spheres: personal, relational, group, or institutional governmental levels. I'm thinking in terms of levels, in terms of anything from an individual to a government. I'm thinking in terms of areas of sustainability. And I would actually argue that looking at the current agenda, that there needs to be more emphasis on both inner sustainability, human sustainability, and I would also say that we often talk about localization in terms of scaling, but I think what we also need to start increasingly talking about is cultural localization, that the sustainability goals have to be part of a common story in the region that they are being pursued. And they have to be interpreted through the language, stories, traditions, and history of that area. And then finally, I'd say that the 4th dimension is the how we choose to act within the different goals. And I would say that these tools, this how, would probably come down to 4 different areas: conceptual, analytical, practical, and communicative. This is like very early stages, but I'd spent a good part of the last 2 days thinking about this and trying to cover all the bases. And I'd be really interested in hearing the group's feedback on that.
Maybe, Alisa, given that we are directly involved with you, let's hear from the group rather than myself first. I see a hand for, sorry, I'm not entirely sure if I can pronounce your name well, Kutondoka. Have I pronounced it well?
Yes, you actually got my surname perfectly well. My name
Wow.
is Monica Kutondokwa, and I'm from the city of Windhoek, and I work within the External Relations and Networking Division. I've also kept my intervention a bit till later on because we are in our very infant stages. We have not yet published a VLR, and we're looking towards doing that. So I think this platform has just been good for us in all to just hear what other cities are doing and using this as an opportunity really to learn from other cities and see what's working. And then I also think we're very fortunate because now from what has been discussed, we can see really how to pivot it and how to then incorporate sort of the quality of life and actually just have that feed into what we want to do. And then I just to piggyback off of what Alyssa was saying is we've also been in discussion with a few of our partners, and thanks to UN Habitat in Nairobi, we've also met with Claudia because we wanted to develop. I think our biggest issue here was just with getting everything started is creating the understanding of what the SDGs are, how to localize that, and then what data. One of the speakers also spoke earlier about having impactful data, so knowing which data to collect. That's what we want to sort of create within our city. Have that happen. And so our discussions with Claudia have been actually very fruitful because we've been talking about sort of the toolkits that are currently in existence, but then also how to localize or how to make that the context with which that information is given, making sure that it fits our context and it speaks to our situation and our people. So I think with the work that UN Habitat is doing and the work that is happening throughout with creating those partnerships and then just creating that capacity is what we truly rely on and what's been very impactful for us, especially since we are the capital city and we are currently now the only ones working on localizing these SDGs. We're looking also then to whatever we do to show those smaller municipalities and local authorities how our journey and how they can then build on that.
Monica, fantastic. Thank you. And what I would like to highlight, and then I'll give you back the floor, Agatha, maybe for some wrapping up, given the time, is that as I understand, Windhoek, as part of as many of the cities that are here connected, is you are, Monica, directly working in a kind of a light twinning with some German colleagues. You had tight exchanges with the city of Vantaa, Finland. And in our experience, and it can be also a model for scaling up, replying and connecting to the question that is guiding this is really the city-to-city exchange twinning model, where one or more in a triangular manner, maybe even cities can hold each other's hands, replying also to Joao's question on how do we lower eventually the cost of transaction, of making and of producing something. So using the peer learning and the twinning exchanges, city-to-city partnership, moving things forward jointly has been extremely successful. We have here colleagues connected from Tampere, Mwanza, Finland, and Tanzania. I think that's also good. I understand, Monica, you're in contact with Durban, Bremen. So it could be a trampoline really for a scaling up approach towards more cities worldwide. Agatha, I see you're frozen. Are you here with us?
Yes, I'm here with you.
Sorry.
I don't know, can you hear me correctly? All good?
Yes, please, over to you.
Excellent. We are 10 minutes overdue, but I think the finishing points were very strong. So thank you very much, dear colleagues, for making these reflections. Just wanted on our side to thank you very much for joining the event today. The question of combining quality of life and SDGs measurement and consideration is the one that cannot be closed within these meetings. We'll continue discussing it internally and quite possible externally. So don't be surprised if you will get an invitation to another discussion on this very subject. There is a lot of very interesting information that came from within this meeting that wouldn't dare to summarize now. There is so much to dive deep into. I wanted to say thank you also to our dear colleagues, Martino and his team, for hosting this meeting with us. And I would like to invite everyone to switch on the cameras. I know you may be in the comfort here or home. I'm personally am, but don't hesitate to switch on the cameras because we would be delighted to take the group photo. At the end, we have our dear colleague from Quality of Life, Christina, who is also a communication focal point. She would be delighted to snap some photos. Christina, don't hesitate to now to moderate us, to tell us when to smile and take those photos.
Okay, thank you so much, Agatha. And if you could please smile at my 3, 2, 1, smile. Thank you so much. I've took a couple and I think they will be great on social.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues, and we wish you a fantastic weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.